world of business sometimes, if not often, looks at creative processes as being woolly-minded and not rigorous.
Yep.
And yet, as you were describing it, as Aristotle would describe it, a compelling argument, a persuasive argument, has to be both kind of logically consistent and emotionally resonant.
Yes.
It has to be convincing. I mean, in one way, it's convincing up here and it's convincing down here, right?
Yes.
Yes. And that takes rigorous thinking.
Yes.
And a good logical brain, as well as the ability to explore people's emotions. So that's one side of it. The other thing that's interesting to me is there's a sort of messy middle in this world, right? Where as we do advance our understanding of possible new versions of the world, right?
Yes.
We can and do use analytical methods to learn about them as we explore them, right? So it's sort of it's that sort of almost that kind of trailing edge of analysis that's actually quite valuable. I mean, that's what we do market research for, right? When we go out and we take prototypes out and we try them with people and we find out how they behave, we watch how they behave, we learn about how they respond to them, and that's data, right? And that becomes evidence that of the value of that version of the world that you're trying to create. So these two things work. They work together in the creative process.
Absolutely. And it also relates, I think, to what Aristotle said. So one of the interesting things about data, right, is where is all the world's data? What era is all the world's data from? The past, right? Last time I checked, we don't have data about the future. So it's all data about the past. So whenever you're analyzing the past. And of course, if you analyze the past and draw a judgment from it, you're making an assumption. What's the assumption? The future will be the same as the past. How does that work out? Well, but that's why Aristotle said that analysis thing is for the part of the world where things cannot be other than they are. Because if it's part of the world where things cannot be other than they are, what will the future be like? The past, right? It's going to for sure be that. It's all like kind of logical. So the interesting thing about the design method, the core elements of the design method, is it manufactures data in the future that helps you get something to be better, right? So what is rapid prototyping, right? What rapid prototyping is doing is manufacturing data that does not now exist. We don't have data about how a new thing that customers have never seen will interact with said customers. But if you give them a prototype and then watch them with it, voila, you've got data. And so I've always viewed the best designers are people who can productively turn the future into the past. Right? Because the problem about the next 6 months from a data standpoint is there isn't any, right? That's the bad thing about the next 6 months. The good things about the next 6 months is in 6 months, there'll be all sorts of data about that 6 months, right? You kind of roll forward, and then you're looking backwards, and you get data. So designers, I think, are good at saying, we don't know if this thing will work, because there is no data about this new thing, but we're going to try it, and we're going to watch, and we expect to see the following. And again, a good designer will say, we'll expect to see some things about it that they like and some things about it that they don't like. And when we figure out what they do like and what they don't like, we can try the next iteration, and we won't have any, we don't know what will happen until they get that next iteration, but we suspect there'll be some things they do like and some things they don't like. Pull that process forward, what you've done is manufactured a data stream that didn't exist that aids you in making your product, service, offering, whatever it is, environment better than it was. That's a creative process, but it is spurred by imagining a possibility. You can't do the test of something new if you can't imagine the possibility of something new. It is not an analytical process. It's a process of imagination.